Now, the excesses of Christmas and New Year might be fading away. It seems like a long time ago now. But for many of us, they've left their mark, that's for sure.
So what should we be doing to get ourselves and our bodies back on an even keel? For the latest in our Summer Reboot series, we're joined by oncologist and medical writer Ranjana Srivastava. Lovely to have you with us.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for coming in. While we have you here, we have been talking this morning about this $20 potential gap with GP visits under 10 minutes. Now, this, of course, we've known about and it's going to come into effect potentially quite soon. Who do you think it'll impact the most?
Look, it's an interesting question, and I think, what I hope it won't do, which is what the AMA and doctors fear it will, is deter poorer patients and people in need from coming to see the doctor, especially if they know that it's a short visit.
So just for a prescription, for
a prescription, a blood pressure check, getting the results of something that you have had, which is a short visit really, but a meaningful one. The other thing, working in a hospital system, I fear, is that whether this will eventually lead to a greater pressure on the emergency departments and hence upstairs on the wards where people like me work, and what kind of impact that will have then on patient throughput of some of the sickest patients in society who are in hospital. So I think, it's a space to watch, lots of concern, obviously.
Something else that might be able to ease concern for emergency departments and long-term sort of health providers is people looking after themselves in January. Is it still a month where people go for broke in December, eat, drink what they like, and then have to pull it back?
Oh, look, the excesses of the festive season visit all of us, don't they? Reflecting on my own holiday, I sort of feel that I've exercised just enough to be able to eat more the next day, etc. But it's really something worth talking about. And in particular, I think we are all familiar with the alcohol excesses that go around in the festive season, as well as the weight gain that comes with it. And perhaps also we should touch on smoking and exercise. So if I may, I'll go through them. Alcohol, I think it's nice to be able to go back to 2 standard drinks a day with some alcohol-free days. Many people overindulge in alcohol. The thing about alcohol also is that there is no standard glass size. And we know that a standard drink is 10 grams of alcohol, but no one really necessarily understands what that means when you are drinking. So I think it's important to get a handle on what that means for you, depending on what it is that you drink. With smoking, we find often hospital patients will tell me, for example, that they had quit smoking, were just about to do so, but then Christmas came around and they saw other people smoking and they became
drinking
tempted.
at the same time is hard.
Exactly. And so, there is a resumption of smoking in that time. Really, there is no safe level of smoking. I, as an oncologist, obviously see a lot of the end product of smoking with lung cancer, but apart from that, there are many other conditions that smoking is associated with. And so I'd really encourage people to think about just quitting, recognizing that it's an addiction and it's hard to do. It's no mean feat, but people do it, and it's gratifying for patient and doctor alike when that happens.
And also, I mean, the weight issue too, because you've got those two that sort of go in tandem, but we are just seeing constantly more and more figures that we are growing ever larger as a community, and it's almost as if that annual stop and check is not happening and people are just continuing and not thinking it's an issue any longer.
And increasingly evidence is piling up as to just how bad obesity is for a person, and it's associated with a range of health effects. So it is really important to take stock of your own weight. And it's interesting, I mean, there's a lot of literature coming out on how everyone wishes to lose weight, many people at least do, but it seems as if losing weight for a cosmetic reason isn't enough to keep you motivated. And so you really need to figure out some other way of saying, well, why is it that I wish to lose weight? So it may be that you want to have more stamina to last the whole day, or you may want to go on a run with your child, which you haven't been able to do, or climb a mountain, or whatever it is. But it seems as if you need more than the cosmetic promise of losing weight, something that's a firmer resolution to look forward to and work towards.
You know what I think's a major problem here is that nutrition, we know, plays so much of a role of keeping healthy. You get so many mixed messages. Some books land on the bestsellers list that have radical diets in them. that potentially unhealthy. So you're getting all these different messages, and even well-read, intelligent people can't keep a handle on nutrition and how to go about it.
I mean, it's incredibly tempting to find a magic diet, to find a magic food, a superfood. But, to be honest, I think if you look at all the stuff out there, the best advice is still to eat in moderation, exercise in moderation, and that's it.
And not processed. I mean, we live in a world that is just all about processed foods. We just turn to them so quickly and so readily, and it's hard because people are working hard, and sometimes that's their quick option out. Should people go to the doctor every year as a regular thing just to make sure? Because if you're feeling well, and I know men are often to blame, not to blame, but they don't like going to the doctors a lot. Should we still have an annual checkup?
So, there used to be a time when people said yes, and medicine loves to turn things on its head. So whilst there is no good evidence that every single person needs an annual physical exam, I think there are some good reasons for being in touch with your GP. Personally, I think some of it relates to identifying some healthy habits and also looking out for sort of silent, insidious conditions like high blood pressure or high blood sugar or high cholesterol that you don't know about until something happens and you end up in hospital. So I think it's well worth having a chat to your doctor about whether you may be at risk of these things. The other thing is chatting about something like reproductive health, which a lot of people are really not very familiar with. So if you're in that age group, you may be a person who needs to talk about vaccinations, whether they're up to date, whether this is something that is important to you. And also, and I think this is really important working in a hospital system, what I see is that sometimes when we have no one else to turn to, we really value the GP's input into what a patient has been like over the years, what their intentions may be, what their goals of care may be. And there's nothing like a GP who has known you and who can help us out when we are looking after you at your sickest. So I think there are more than enough reasons to check in with your GP and then decide how often you need to come back.
Look, some great advice. Thank you very much for joining us, Ranjana.